What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ampleforth today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 21st of April. We got about 8 hours left in this day. We're sitting at $2.46, about 6 days left in this week. If we look at where we are in the grand scope of things, we're in this very large accumulation phase here. Hopefully it's accumulative, not distributive. This large accumulation phase here, and we're at the base of it. So my assumption would be every single time we've been down here, it's been a prime area to buy up until we get to about $6.50, $7, $8, whatever, something like that. So I think we're at a prime area to buy. I do expect that we're going to bounce from here. We had a lot of volume come in at these lows. Looking at the weekly RSI, we do have lower lows in the RSI with lower lows here. That's fine, whatever. We're getting overbought. We're not getting oversold. That is a good look in my opinion. 3-day time frame. Bouncing off the 40, not a bad thing, but you are oversold, so we need to see this get a little bit higher. We need this to continue to get overbought, because if not, if you return down to this oversold area, man, you could be in some real trouble. Seeing new all-time highs, breaking out of this accumulation pattern to the downside would actually mean it's a distributive pattern instead of an accumulative pattern, and we don't want that, right? We want to validate the notion that over time there's been accumulation going on, that this thing's ready to go higher, and I think we will as time goes on. Over the next couple of months, we'll validate that, but what we don't want to do is close any given week below, yeah, probably about like $2. We don't want to close any week below about $2 there. So as long as we're above $2, I think we're okay. Looking at this on a daily time frame, looking at the RSI here, you did reject the 60. You are finding support, at least as of now, above the 40. You're looking to bullishly engulf yesterday's bearish candle there. That's not a bad look. And I think, let's see here, if we take this from a low, I don't want to take this high. I want to take this high. Golden ratio support, nice, good. Yeah, because again, I think that's a scam wick. I think this high might be the real high right there, whatever. This is a scam wick here. We're just going off of the close and then the next high after that. So, yeah, golden ratio bounce makes sense to me. If we can get above, so getting below $2 would invalidate the notion that we're going higher, right? That would be a very bad thing. $2.03 for being specific. $3.09, getting above there on a daily closing basis, not on a wicking basis, but on a daily closing basis. If we can get above there, that'll validate that this is the low and that we are in fact going higher, probably even up to where this high is and beyond. Okay, so by the end of this month of April, I would expect that, being here at 246, I would expect that we're a little bit higher. I think that we're going to recover a little bit back above $3, maybe even as high as like $4, $4.50, somewhere at this area, because if we look at this here, we found resistance back here, some resistance, some support back here. So 440, that's a nice area, I think, to find some resistance on this next move up. I don't believe that we're just going to move like a straight line all the way up through this high here, but inevitably I do think we'll get above that high. If we're looking at this from an overall high to low perspective, from the high that we had earlier this cycle in March of 2024 to the low that we just formed here in March of 2025, a whole year later, the expectation would be that when we take out this high, that we probably do take out this high as well, and we proceed to new highs relative to anything we've seen this cycle, right? Relative to anything that we've seen in years. So the minimum target from that high to low is at about $13.81, right? That's the minimum target. This is the 1272. The 1618 is the top end of what I like to call the primary target zone. So whenever it comes to fib extensions, which anytime you're above this area here, above the high, you're extending past, you're not just retracing. Anytime that you see fib extensions, the primary target zone is the 1272 to the 1618, and the minimum target of this primary zone is $13.81. We're at $2.46 now. So this would imply that at a minimum standard, Ampleforth has a projected target of about 5x, 5.6x by the end of June. That's my expectation, right? And I really do think that by the end of June, we will see some resolution to the upside. Resolution, what do I mean by that? I mean resolution of this overall accumulative pattern here. We will get a break above it. We'll be above all of these wicks and stuff like that. So I really do think that 1381 stands to be a good target area to hit. But my thought is, if we look at this for how long we've been in this pattern, it's been since May of 2022. It's about to be May right now. 3 years that we've been in this accumulative pattern. I doubt that we see our first target and we stop there. 3 years to accumulate. I think that the breakout move is going to be eruptive. We're going to see something on the lines of a $17 price, a $20 price, maybe even a $23 price. Something that I like, that $23 area. It's at the top. It's at the golden ratio for one. It's at the top of your primary target zone, which makes a lot of sense when dealing with this long phase of accumulation. And it also comes in line very well with these areas of resistance back here. It's pretty damn perfect. From the current price of 246, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if Ampleforth saw prices that were at $23.43, $23.73, something around 23 to 24 bucks over the next 2 months. But at a bare minimum, we're looking for something that's about $10 less than that, at about $13 to $14, right? At a bare minimum. So the average altcoin, I did a quick analysis on this earlier today. The average altcoin is expected to do something on the lines of like a 4x to a 5x. Or no, I'm sorry. I did this earlier. I should know this. It's actually a 3.7x to a 4x, right? That's kind of the average expectation for the average altcoin by the end of June. Your minimum target here, whoops, that's not what I thought it was. Let's see, hold on. Your minimum target here would be a 5.6x. So even if you do stop at your minimum zone, you're still outperforming the average crypto by a good bit, right? But I don't think you stop here. You'll be interacting with the 1272 minimum target of this accumulative pattern. I don't think that you stop at your minimum target. It's also kind of in the midst of this consolidation phase here. It's not like at the base of it. It's kind of right in the middle. I think it would make a lot more sense to find resistance at the top of this zone rather than in the middle of the zone. But time will tell. You know, anything between 1380 to 2380 is a very possible outcome, and that could be where we go. Over the coming days, over the coming weeks, I expect we will continue to move up higher. I'm going to use this high to low as a good fib retracement to build from. I would assume that by the end of by the end of May, we will probably be above $5, and then going into June, we'll start to look to expand to these higher targets. I do expect that by the end of May, we'll be up around these areas. If not, maybe even up around these areas here. Something between $5 to $9 is where we'll be, consolidating to finish up May. And then once June comes out, once we open up June, we'll start to rip and see these higher prices come into play. That's the expectations that I have in front of us right now. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say, so I'll just end the video there, I guess. 3-day time frame, RSI looks bullish enough. You're in a bearish positioning, I guess, right now, but if you can continue to hold the 40 as support, prior areas of resistance, prior areas of support, if you can hold this prior areas of support, if you can hold this as support, you'll build from here and get to the overbought zone. This is a good area to build from. But again, get above about, what was it, about $3.05, what was it? $3.08. Get above $3.09. Don't go below $2.03, and you will validate this as a low and validate, or at least potentially validate, all the things that we've talked about in this video so far. So I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Fourth, by the end of June, ultimately is expected to go to about $23 to $24, something at the high ends of this consolidation phase here. 20 to 24 bucks. Let's just say that. Okay, take care. Bye.